Sorry, do you have the perception that I'm looking down on you? Or maybe you're looking up to me? So as a child, doctors diagnosed me with asthma. They gave me this spray. And as it so happened, I took part in an emergency asthma schooling where they said, if you do not have your inhaler, then this is one of the methods you can use, which is you breathe really deep into your stomach and then you press out air like you would blow through a straw. They said you should use a straw, but if you have no straw... Anyway, after that, I just stopped using the inhaler. Somehow I started to... Sometimes I had these moments because I wanted to go running and I was short of breath, and then what I did was... you know, until... And this blew up my lungs. Now I'm barely out of breath. So this is what doctors gave me as an emergency measurement, and I just used it all the time. Every time I was short on breath, I simply started to breathe. And I have become so good at breathing that every panic attack is just a sigh of relief. So breath is one of the most astonishing methods you can come across in this world, because it fills your broken and dead body with life. You know, you call it oxygen, I call it energy. Oxygen, energy. And that's what I can talk about for the rest of my life. If I do this exercise, I breathe deep into the stomach. I have changed the method though. I have adapted it so that I don't do like this. No, I breathe in every time my vision gets blurry and I start to be drowning in fear again. What some people call a depression. What I simply call the swamp, which is raw material for your creation. Then what do? I breathe into the stomach really deep. And then I press out my chest, because now you've got a lot of volume in your lung stomach area. And this breaks the spell that you were under. Or you could say it deflates your ego, or you could say it works out. You know, it works on a lot of pressure points, because you apply pressure and then all these little knots you were having, you can just stretch them out like this. So you press out your chest and pull back your shoulders, and this alleviates tension, and then your spirit can break through. And then suddenly you're up here again, and that's a new height. You just broke through another boundary. So I experience these birth spasms quite a lot. I have now once again realized that it is like this. Your spirit is constantly being reborn. Every step you take, every experience you make is making you grow. So sometimes everything feels tight. So you have to go into some kind of like open space where you feel safe. And then stretch it out, and you just grew. You just grew a meter. In spiritual terms, it's all relative. Sometimes you're big, then you're small. But you constantly keep growing if you make the choices that help you to do so, which are always the choices that seem hard, that pose the greatest potential for healing is often the thing that makes you sick, but not the kind of, gore kind of stuff sick, but the kind of, how sick have I been? What have I stored inside of myself that suddenly wants to resurface? I burped it all into my podcast. I burped it all into creation. Some people, they just keep going to these weird ayahuasca things and then they keep vomiting, drowning in their own sorrow. I just drink bitter tea at home. I just carried the spirit from these ceremonies back home and implemented it there. So, you need very little if you know about breath. Or less, you need less. I still boost myself with food though. Just ate a lot of peanut butter. And then I made the jump to record the last 22 videos for 2025. It's not the last 22. I still have 2 more after that, 2 big ones. These are now the small ones that I put in between. So keep breathing, whatever they say. Breath is the most important thing. So that's the one thing I want to comment about. What then about these other forms of shamanism, such as rapé? Do I no longer need this after I have cleansed myself adequately with it? What would it turn me into if I would now do it again after I feel like I actually don't need it? Would it destroy something? The consequences may be too severe to just gamble with it. Hey. Do birds need rapé? Does a wolf need rapé? Am I a wolf? Well, I think I'd rather do Tantra or something. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I think I should be enough in the forest without the rapé. Because where does the rapé come from? South America. Right, it's hard to say. I cannot say any longer. I felt like it changed me in certain ways when I was working with rapé. And I have realized it made me more angry, more vicious, more eager to pierce or something. And I have seen videos of rapé rituals where there was just the guy, just a row of men sitting there giving them all rapé. It looked like an escape. It looked like trying to escape this reality. So I would suggest, if it's for looking for visions and something like a ritual, okay, but never every day. Never too much, but I have had times where I did it every day. For long periods even. But then I just stopped buying it. And then when I felt like it, I did it again. Well, now I'm just super insecure. Because I feel like I'm in league with a woman. What does it mean in terms of having children? Well, what does the rapé do? What do psychedelics in general do? I think they, yes, dissolve boundaries in a certain way. and help you to distance yourself. But I can distance myself like this. So I feel breathing is much better for this. And it gets out the heaviness, and it allows me to feel again. Okay, that's enough. Just wanted to talk about breath. Okay? Cheers.